Hi guys, morning and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Norton Disney. Second time I've ever been here. I'm down for 48 hours. I've got what I'd call is a fairly decent swim. I'm on Pettits Lake. All I've got to do is get down there, get the rods wrapped up and get set up. Without any ado, let's get going. Okay guys, so when you first arrive here at Norton Disney, they supply nets, mats and slings, so there's no need to bring your own. It's all supplied. When you buy your ticket, just round the corner, you pick these up from a guy freshly through the dip tank, so there's no chance of bringing any disease or infections onto site. Really good quality gear and really nice, big, soft, padded unhooking mat. Okay guys, so we're all set up now. I think I mentioned earlier, I'm at Norton Disney. I'm on Pettits Lake. It was my preferred choice, number one choice. I got a bit lucky really when I got here in the morning. Just happened to speak to somebody in the car park who was fishing in the next peg. He hadn't actually caught anything, but the lad in this peg where I am now, he knew that he'd had a few fish, so he suggested I come and have a word with him. So I did just that, and turns out he'd had 10 bites for, I think it was 8 fish, and he actually had a couple while I was here waiting for him. So the reason I'm fully bivvied up, rods out, kettle on, got myself a nice cup of tea, even had a chance to get the biscuits out. That's how relaxed I am, and it's only about 3:30 in the afternoon. Now anybody who knows me, Rich especially, will know that it normally takes me hours. But the thing is with these type of venues, it's not like your hush hush, don't tell anybody anything type venue. It's always good to speak to people when you first get here. That's what I tried to do this morning. Spoke to a few people. It became apparent that the fish was sat out in this middle area and there'd been a few caught. I had a word with the guy in the swim. He was going to dinner time. Rude not to jump in behind him. He filled me in exactly where he'd been catching, how many wraps, what to cast at. Pointless getting a mark float out, no point trying to reinvent the wheel. So for the first night, I'm going to go in on all 3 rods on one spot. I've put about 12 to 15 medium spoms out at the minute. I've just got a mix of pellet that you can buy here. It's fairly cheap. It's hardly worth bringing your own really. It's been fed all year and there's been tons of it going in, so Everybody else is pre-baiting for you, pointless not using it. I've got a little bit of corn in the mix, and then I've got a little bit of my own boilie. Now I've got whole and chopped boilies. Now the whole boilies are 20mm. My hook baits are a lot smaller. I'm only using 12mm wafters and pop-ups, but I want a few different sizes going out there in the mix, just trying to confuse them and mix it up a little bit. All three of my hook baits at the moment are yellow. The guy was catching on yellow. He'd also tried some luminous orange things, but everything he'd had been on yellow pop-ups. So I've got 2 out there on yellow pop-ups. I'll show you the rigs in a bit when I wind them back in before I cast them out for the evening. And the third rod, just because I'm putting a bit of corn out there, I'm fishing a wafter on a German rig. I'm going to drink my cup of tea and just see if anything happens. If it does, you'll be the first to know. Well, apart from me obviously, because I'm sat next to the alarms. Anyway, catch you in a bit. Okay guys, so we're all set up now. Just before I put the rods out, just go through the 2 different types of rigs that I'm using. On a couple of the rods, I'm going to go out with the good old faithful Ronnie rigs. I've got 8.5 inches there, quite long, but I noticed speaking to the guy who's in the swim before me, there's a little bit of weed out there. It's not over excessive, it's probably 6 to 8 inch long, the weed that he was pulling in, that he showed me. So I just want something that's going to settle down on that nicely. I've got that on a helicopter rig, I'll show you that in a minute. So one of the yellow pop-ups that are out the cabin here, a size 6 seems to balance that really nice. A 4 is a little bit too much, it's sort of bent over like a claw. I want it popped on the bottom, and what I definitely want is that slowly moving away. Now you'll notice I've got a mouse dropping about 3 inches away from the hook. That's purely there because this ESP semi-stiff material in the 20 pound is not as rigid as the Corda stuff. It sits over contours really nice, but it has a tendency to drop down with a loop in the middle. So I've got that mouse drop in there 3/4 of the way down the ring. So that floats out nicely, and then the final bit rests down on any low-lying weed that's on the spot out there. Okay guys, so the second and third rig that I'm going to put out, the reasoning behind this rig is A, I've got maximum confidence in it, and B, I'm spomming out sweet corn with the pellet and a little bit of boilie. So I wanted something that's going to be sat on the bottom. The guy before me said he was catching everything on yellow pop-ups, but in my head it makes sense to have at least one rig out on a wafter. So good old faithful German rig, nice size 4, curved shank barbless, 8 inches this one, of 20 pound semi-stiff Corda braid. Really stiff braid. Because I've not got the buoyancy in that bait, I want that kicking out away from the lead. I want the rig straight, so when the fish picks it up, the first thing it comes in contact with is the hook, and then straight away the lead. You notice there, just like all good German rigs, the big swivel is sat on the hook and it's stopped with a hook bead. 2.5 inches back from the back of the hook, quite a large blob of putty. Now the reason I like to have that on there is I believe it shortens the rig up. As the fish moves away, that's obviously naturally going to drop, and the hook's going to bend and curve down into the bottom lip. I like the extra length of the rig The reason why I don't use the short rigs is because I believe there's a little bit of weed out there. I think the spot I'm landing on is quite clear, but because it's only about 5 foot and I'm pushing 88 yards, it's difficult to feel the bottom. I can feel the leg go down, but it's not like an absolute clonk. I've not got enough time to take the stretch out of the line on the cast, so I'm struggling to feel down a little bit. I know by winding in the weed that I'm winding in that it's not too serious and I can present a bait. Okay guys, so the actual leader that I'm using, you're allowed to use leaders here at Norton Disney up to 1 metre long. So you can use the safe zone or use the cord or anything you like, even fluorocarbon. So what I've got on here, I think it's a Fox this one, but not that it really matters. And now you can see the rig is running up and down on the leader between the 2 beads. Straight lead on the end there, that's an actual helicopter lead. It's not got the swivel on, so it's really nice and neat underneath that rubber there. You've got the rubber at the front and then rubber at the back. This one's about 8 inches. Because there again, what I spoke to you about the weed, I believe I've got a little bit of low-lying weed out there. Maybe the spot I'm casting to's clear, but just in case I go a little bit left, a little bit right, if the wind gets up, I just want that movement so it can sit and waft down over the top of that weed. Okay guys, so that's the rigs all sorted out. You've seen what rigs I'm using, the wafters and the pop-ups. Nothing too complicated as far as rigs go. The spot that I'm fishing out to, the guy that was here previous, he kind of put me onto a clear patch in the weed. I'm 22 wraps out, pretty straight out. Tonight I'm going to put all 3 rods on that spot. I've not seen anything else to go on at the minute. I've not really been here that long. I've just been sat here for a couple of hours and it has been raining. It's been terrible weather, so been sat here for a couple of hours. Not cold mine, but wet. Not really seen a great deal apart from in the middle. So I'm going to stick all 3 baits on one spot, try and suss it out over the next 24 hours. If I catch, bonus. If I don't catch, try and work on it. Hi guys, morning. Down here on Friday morning on Pettits Lake. First fish from the lake. First fish on this trip. It's not the biggest in the lake, but it's certainly a pretty one. Came about 4:45 this morning. It's just light raining. 1 or 2 fish showing. Absolute one toner on the German rig. We'll get this one back and see if we can't catch 1 or 2 more. Well guys, just sat there watching the water. It's about 8:30. Not any action since that one this morning, 4:45. It's beginning to get a little bit concerned, but the weather's playing ball today. It's overcast and quite damp. And this one on the Ronnie this time, absolutely ripped off. Complete one toner, completely out of the blue. Sat there drinking a cup of tea, wondering whether to top up with more bait. I didn't need to worry. Second fish of the trip. Not weighed it yet, but I think it's going to be close to 20 this one. So we'll do a quick look at the other side and then we'll get it weighed. See 1 or 2 marks on this one from spawning. Exactly the same as the one I had earlier. Had some lifted scales on one side. Just a bit of treatment and back she went. Right, let's get her back in. Okay guys, so what I want to talk to you about now is the introduction of bait, how much, what kind of quantity, and when we're going to be doing it. Now, on any other lake, I wouldn't dream of introducing bait on what I'd class as prime bite time, sort of between 5 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock. I would sit on the bait I've put in from the night before and hope that I've got everything exactly right. Now this lake might be completely different. I've noticed on the other side, there's 2 guys that spent a good 15 minutes spomming when I'd class as prime bite time. What I have noticed though, it's brought them a bite. Within 15 to 20 minutes, they've managed to hook and land a fish. So maybe it's the way to go. So what I'm going to do now, I've just had that second fish, is put 6 spoms in. If I get any more action throughout the day, I'm going to top the swim up with another 6 spoms, see how the fish react and adjust accordingly. Oh guys, what an absolute shitty day. The weather's been truly appalling. It's been torrential rain all afternoon. In fact, it's just started raining again now and I'm trying to do this filming. But when you get fish like this come along, check the scale patterns out on this. Wow. Just look at that, guys. Fantastic. It's literally like rows of gold coins on it. Absolutely immense. I know it's gone 8 o'clock because I was watching the football, England-Scotland. So I think about 8:15 this one came. 4 runs today now, all through the day, nicely spaced out. Massive drop back this one. I actually suspected a bird may have picked me up for a start, then ran out the bivvy, wound down, hit into it, and thankfully it was a fish. How she's behaving. That is truly stunning. Must be approaching near the 20-pound mark again. When they're this pretty, size is kind of irrelevant. Look at that, the other side is just as nice. Wow. One happy angler. Still one night to go. I suppose this weather's good for one thing, and that's for the fishing. Right, let's get him back. He can enjoy the rest of his day and we can watch the end of the football. Okay guys, just a quick update. I've had those 4 beautiful fish today. It's been really wet all day long. It's not been ideal for filming, but it's been fantastic for fishing. What I have noticed is out to my right of where I've been baiting, there's fish been showing about 15 yards further across. So what I've done is, I've wound 1 rod in and I've had a flick round and I found a nice clear area. So what I'm going to do tonight is put 6 bombs out on that spot and I'm going to put 1 Ronnie rig over the top. Now on the existing spot that we found yesterday, I'm going to carry on with the same theme, 12 to 15 spoms. And because today 3 of the 4 runs have come on the German rigs, I'm going to put 2 German rigs out on that spot. I'm going to stick with the same 12mm yellow wafters. Just 1 fish. 30-pounder. Wow, this took some serious amount of line. Got me through weed again. Considering Danny reckons there's no weed in here. He always seems to manage to find it. Still coming though. That's the main thing. Well, it's Saturday morning, guys. Been watching fish showing. This is the new spot I put out last night. Out to the right. I saw fish showing yesterday morning. It's in a different place to where I was getting the fish yesterday. Another drop back. Right down the line of my rods. Another similar sized fish. She's in. Well guys, the rain's finally stopped. It's Saturday morning, second morning on my trip. Wow, what a 24 hours yesterday. Fishing brilliant, but weather absolutely terrible. No good for filming. Pretty good for fishing though. So anyway, a bit later today than yesterday. Finally got into one. Another absolute beauty. I weighed it again. I'm weighing these fish afterwards, so I'm not double handling them. Beautiful scale patterns on these carp here. I'm absolutely loving this place. Helps if you're getting a decent swim, obviously, but came to the Ronnie this time. Put 2 Germans and 1 Ronnie out last night, but this one came to the Ronnie. Massive drop back. Lent into it. And then it stripped about 50 yards of line off me. Found a weed bed again. Just like all the others, different one, but they seem to know where that weed is. He's behaving nice. You can see around the head where the spawning scars are. Last 3 weeks these fish have been spawning. That beautiful warm weather. And now finally, weather's broke and they've got their heads down. Right, let's get him back in, get back to his day and start the slow pack down. So guys, we're not having long on the Saturday morning to play with. I made the conscious decision as soon as I caught a fish to get the rig straight back out and 2 spoms over the top. And it didn't take long for it to start to pay off. Well, this actually looks like a nice fish. .2114 is my biggest so far.
it could challenge that.
I think it might cause that one some issues. Flicked off the dorsal. Heart stopping moment. It's like doing stuff but not really doing anything, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's fair more one.
It's got that ploddy feel. It's got some girth, but I don't think it's got the length. Oh, don't do that. Yeah. Come to daddy, come to daddy. Yes, yes, that's quite a bit bigger than I thought. Yes, 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 yes. Wow, 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 wow. That's a good 20, that is. Wow. Oh, I'm shaking. Oh, thank you, mate. It's a chunks, dude.
That's what we're talking about. Man, that is a beast. Look at that.
Wow. So, just releasing that last fish and 2 bleeps and then absolutely ripped off. Oh, could you believe you look what may be the last fish of the morning? Last fish of my trip. Oh. That is certainly over 20 pounds. I've not weighed her yet, but I guess she's going to be closer to 30. We can only hope and pray. But that is a beast. That's what we come to these places for. That's why I left the pits alone this weekend. Absolutely magic. Let's have a quick look at the other side. That's why we have these beautiful padded mats. For when we get beautiful gills like this. So we put them back in the condition that we find them in. Wow. I don't know if you can see the smile on my face, but I am one happy angler. She's killing my back. Let's get her back in. Oh, you beauty. Before we do put her back in, let's weigh it. Because I forgot to do that bit. God, it lifted.
PB?
Yeah.
12?
12, 14, I don't know. Are they 2 ounce?
Yeah, 2 ounce.
Pettits magic.
Thank you.
Legs 4, close your eyes.
Super bad boy. That was a good one. Good darts.
Time. Wicked.
Wow. 37 pound 13 ounces. We just weighed her up. Apparently she is called Archie. Absolutely made up. One of, if not the biggest fish in the lake. Thank you very much, Gil. Time to put you back. You can go now if you want. Go on. That's a wrap. So guys, while I was having the slow pack down, I managed another couple of beautiful Norton Disney Pettits carp. What struck home to me was the benefit and the hindsight of the baiting strategy. Changing up to them 2 spoms and getting that rig straight back out certainly paid off this morning. Something I'll take into the next session, start lighter and work your way up. Anyway, it's time to get off home and live on the memories until the next trip. Well guys, that's it for me down here at Norton Disney. Hope you've enjoyed it just as much as I have. Thanks for watching all the way through to the end. If you check out my channel, there's some more great stuff on there. Stalking, session fishing, a few reviews and some nice river carp. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.